In this video series, I'm going to teach you how to hold your very first freestanding handstand. So this video series is going to be 6-part in-depth how to go from zero to holding your first freestanding handstand. Like you, when I first started to learn the handstand, I went on YouTube, searched how to hold a handstand, and started scrolling through all the thousands of videos. And I found that there's not really a process that people give on the internet. It's mostly kick up against the wall and try to find balance, how to hold a handstand in 1 hour, things like this. It's just unrealistic. So I'm going to give you in-depth how to hold a handstand from knowing nothing to holding your first freestanding handstand. I will be releasing a new video on this topic every week. So part 1 will be this week, then next week will be part 2, and so on. So subscribe to see that part as soon as it comes out. So this first video is on the theory of balance. How does balance happen from a physics standpoint? I think it's very important to both understand how things work and be able to do it. I don't want to teach my students per se. I want to give them the tools and I want them to learn how to do something. This is my goal. So in today's video, we're going to go over the theory of how to balance. So the theory of how to balance is actually very simple. You need your base of support to be over your center of mass. Let's take an example of standing, okay? Your base of support is your 2 feet, and your center of mass is somewhere around your hip. So if your hip stays over your 2 feet, you can remain in balance. If your hip goes too far, you will take a step or you will fall. So now we're going to take this concept and apply it to being upside down in a handstand. So many things stay the same, but my base of support now is my 2 hands, and my center of mass stays around my hip, so that is the same. It actually does not matter if my feet are moving, if my elbows are bent, if my back is bent. As long as my center of mass stays over my base of support, I will have balance. So now we're going to apply this theory with a pencil and my hand. So I'm going to use my hand as the base of support right here, and the center of mass I will find from the pencil. It'll be somewhere in the middle. So I have my base of the center of mass over the base of support, so I can move around and it'll stay in balance the whole time. But if I change the center of mass to be up here, but my base of support stays the same, it's much harder to catch. So this is why a one-arm handstand is much more difficult than a QDR or a croc. Because in a croc or a QDR, the center of mass is lower on the base of support, just like this pencil is lower, the center of mass is lower than in this position. And this position would be like a one-arm handstand. So the base of support is exactly the same, but the center of mass is farther away, so you have a more difficult time balancing. So now we know 2 things. The first thing we know is the center of mass must stay over the base of support for balance to occur. And the second thing is, the farther the center of mass is from the base of support, the harder the variation to balance is. So a one-arm handstand versus a QDR. QDR would be much easier one-arm balance, although the base of support stays the same. Now we're going to talk about the importance of the hand. So before we talk about the importance of the hand, we're going to do a little test. So I want you to stand up with your feet together, and you are going to lean as far forward as you can without taking a step. And I want you to feel the sensation in your feet. What are your feet doing? What is pressing down? And then I want you to do the same thing backwards. So you're going to lean as far backwards as you can without taking a step backwards, and feel what your feet do. Okay, so you should have noticed if you lean forward, your toes actually grab the ground to keep you into balance. And if you lean backwards, all of your weight went into your heel and maybe even your toes lifted up. This is very similar in the handstand, except we're going to be using our hands to balance. So if we go too far forward, like we're going to fall over into a bridge or on our back, we're going to press harder into our hands, into our fingers, and this will bring us back to balance. And if we're going to fall towards our feet, back to our feet, you're going to put more weight into the palm, and this will push us back to that center of mass over the base of support. So now that we have all the theory out of the way, I'm going to teach you what I think is the easiest 2-arm balance variation. This variation is called the froggy. I believe it's called something different in yoga, but I don't do yoga, so I don't know. You are going to start in a squat position, and your elbows are going to come on the inside of your knees. You're going to place your hands flat on the ground, and you're going to grab the ground with your fingers. From here, you're going to lean forward, leaning the knee on the outside of the elbow, and you're going to keep leaning until your feet come off the ground. When you're first starting, just lean forward so that there's little weight in your feet, and then as you get more and more comfortable, the feet will slowly start to lift off, and you will feel this balance. So if you go too far, like you're gonna hit your head towards the ground, you'll push more into your fingers. And if you're not going far enough where your feet are still gonna hit the ground, you'll push into the palm to bring you back to the center of mass over your base of support. So one drill I like to enforce this idea of using the fingers is to start in the froggy, but you're gonna start with your head on the ground, and you're gonna press very hard into your fingers to bring yourself either into balance or back towards your feet. And this will give you the sensation that you'll use in the full handstand. So that is all that there is on the theory. Remember, the base of support must stay over the center of mass, and how to use the fingers. So if you're falling over, press into the fingers. If you're falling backwards, press a little bit into the palm. One important thing to know though, we do not want to lift this part of the hand at all during our balance. So although we do push more into the finger or more into the palm, I don't lift the palm up. I'm just pressing more weight there. When we are in balance, we want to keep it pretty much right around our knuckles here, right around our knuckle line, and this allows us to use the fingers a little bit more to balance. If we keep our balance around our heel of the hand, we can't use our finger as well, so we want to keep it towards the front a little bit so we can use our fingers. Okay, so that was it on today's video. We went into the theory. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below and I will respond as quickly as I can. This concept is very difficult, but I think everybody can understand. In next week's video, we are going to go over the alignment of the handstand. What is the proper alignment for a handstand? What is the efficient alignment? And how can you train it? Okay, so if you'd like to see that video, subscribe and that video will come out next week. If you'd like to go through this process with a teacher, with me, you can go in my description and email me for online coaching. That is the session.